All right, so this is the part of the module that we're drawing towards the end where our students have to actually start planning and drafting their argumentative essay. So students are going to use their Taking a Stand anchor chart that we started at the beginning of the module, as well as their Atticus anchor chart that you've seen in my previous videos, to support the claim that they are eventually going to be constructing based off of their prompt. When they make that claim up, they're filling all their information in a graphic organizer, so that way they can eventually use that graphic organizer to develop their rough draft, which will be in MLA formatting. Students will also use a classroom-created revision checklist to do an initial proofread of their rough draft before allowing someone to peer edit it. So with the first essay they wrote at the beginning of the year in our first module, and now with this one, I'm weighing a lot heavier on them really crafting their essay instead of, okay, write a graphic organizer, now write your rough draft, now let's edit it, okay, submit it. There's a lot more of a writing process this year than there was last year when I did this originally. So my teaching point for this lesson is really just them being able to revise their own essay for formality, spelling, punctuation, and citations. After they've done their graphic organizer and they've now written up their rough draft, they've gotten feedback from me a few times at this point. However, I want them to make sure that they are editing things on their own and they're not relying on the fact that I've already read it, okay, it must be good, now I'm just going to fix these corrections and I'm going to submit it and I'm done. So the way we start this is by focusing on an introductory paragraph from a other essay with a similar topic, not the same topic. So we look at how that introduction is structured and how it answers the initial prompt. So I'm looking for them to say things like, she says the title and author of the book, she introduces the character and the claim, and she ends the introduction with her claim or what will be their thesis statement. Then we'll look at the three-body paragraphs where, again, I'm going to be asking them to point out the things that they see in these paragraphs, that there's a counterclaim, that they state their claim, that there's text evidence, that the evidence is explained thoroughly, things along that line so that they can see what a very coherent essay actually sounds like, that it's not very staccato, that it all flows and it has a rhythm. Then we'll lastly look at the conclusion, where again they will see that the author restates her claim and that the author summarizes her reasons. At this point, we also want to make sure that they know you can't use any of this information unless you cite it correctly because that's plagiarism. And the model is also answering a completely different writing prompt than what they have. Students have in the past tried to use exactly what they see in the model to put in their own essay, even though they are not the same writing prompt. So being this super specific does help you a little bit more in the future. So as they bring up their their rough draft, we will be looking at formal versus informal writing, where we want to make sure that they're writing in a formal tone, and that they're not using slang abbreviations or speaking in the first person. So we look at this quick little example where they point out the things that shouldn't be in there, like the fact that it says, "in my opinion," and they try and change it themselves. Then we look at spelling. We go over how to use spell check in a Word document because they do need to be shown that. And also that they scan through their essay to check their there, and there, which generally is not revealed in a spell check, and they usually never go back to check those things. Third is going to be their citations and punctuations, making sure that their quotes are in MLA formatting with their citations, and that their quotes are in fact all cited. Also to make sure that punctuation is correct, and especially when it comes to typing their essay, that they know that there should be a period as well as 2 spaces afterwards before they start the sentence, that there shouldn't be any exclamation points or capital letters or things like that. So again, you can pause the video at this point and take a few minutes and look through the documents that I have attached to the mentor texts and use the revision checklist to find any errors that you would have changed if you were the student.
In Middletown, call State Farm agent and listen today.
All right, so if you read through that and you tried out our little revision checklist, I hope you enjoyed it. This link will really help students with revising their own essay to make sure it sounds well written and that errors are caught before publishing a final draft. They also have their own version of the rubric at this point that they will be graded on to make sure that they will receive maximum amounts of points in each category. They can also use their rough draft and check it along the rubric.